in fact, when I decided to join ENT, I didn't know that there were such few ENT surgeons, but we have very few ENT surgeons currently. Up north, if you left the Chiman up, there's only 3 of us currently working, having to serve over almost 5 million people. So we need a lot of ENT surgeons. Down south, we have some in Kumasi, some in Kolebu, one in Cape Coast, one in Koforidua. Currently, we had one colleague also who just passed away. So these are the only places that we have ENT. All the others, other regions, 16 regions, there's no ENT. So there's a lot of space for people who want to take up ENT as a profession to be able to join the ENT fraternity and help us to build. And also because I think that ENT has a brighter future. When I was in residency, we didn't have the scopes and things that KUMI and Co are talking about today. And now now they are using it routinely in their daily clinical work. We didn't have that opportunity. So I believe that even as we are moving towards subspecialty, in the next few years, we'll have a lot of subspecialties. It would become even more exciting. The residents, fellows will be exposed to even far more greater range of surgical skills and possibilities. So if you are considering surgery, another thing I'll add is that ENT also affords you to have an extracurricular life. You want to be surgically inclined, always be able to operate, and also have some other extracurricular life apart from medicine. I think ENT is one of the surgical disciplines that can afford you that. Thank you.
Please, I just want to add something to what my boss have said so far. I think if you're a medical student, or let me say if you're a junior doctor or a medical officer or a house officer who is considering ENT, I would advise that you start reading some anatomy of the head and neck, because the primary exam has a lot of that in it. And as an ENT person, you need to know a lot of the anatomy of the head and neck. So in order for you not to struggle when it's time for you to write the primaries, I think whilst you are working and you are considering it, you can start with some anatomy of the head and neck regions. That will be very helpful when it's time for you to, when you have finally decided to do it and it's time for you to write the exam. Okay, thank you.
All right, so to add on, as I said initially, during our time, the exposure in ENT was very little, but I must say, when we came on board, some of us, we've been able to impact and then convince some medical students to join, okay? Now they are exposed to it, the exposure is greater, and they are able to understand the pathologies, and some of them have developed the interest already. So for me, even when they come to me in the clinic, hey, Dr. Regina, I think I have an earache. I just quiz them. So what do you think you have? I mean, combining the symptoms, and they're able to come up with, I mean, a very accurate diagnosis. And then I also ask them to manage themselves, and they're able to do it. Hitherto, every ear pain is otitis media. They'll give ear drops for every ear pain. And now I think that the practice is changing. Otherwise, if you don't buckle up our belts, the space may be taken up by nurses and all that, and you'll be in a district hospital or wherever, and you, the doctor, you're unable to manage ENT, and you get your nurses. So we are encouraging as much medical students, and then as much doctors, medical officers to join us, so that we all help in providing adequate healthcare delivery to the people of Ghana. And then I also want to add that, you know, when you want to enter into something, or into a program, you assess and then find out where your service will be most needed. I am not trying to condemn entry into other surgical disciplines, but as you can see, some disciplines are already choked. So if we assess the number of people who have developed interest and already practicing other surgical disciplines, and combined with the fact that ENT, we have less of us, or few of us in there, then I am quite sure that it will be a best option to choose when you want to consider a surgical discipline, that your impact will be felt, and then you can quickly rise up the academic ladder if you're interested, because we have few of us in there and there will be no stampede. So as I've said, please come on and join us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. There's one other question that I would also like to ask, which is something a lot of people interested in surgery always ask this. How do you achieve a good work-life balance in this specialty? And we'd like to start with Dr. Regina, because that's one thing a lot of future female surgeons always ask about, work-life balance.
Okay, so Muni, thank you very much for this question. I always say that whatever you put up your mind to do, you would be able to do it. Not, I mean, there's instances where you would have a lot of challenges, but once you plan your life, know when to do what, you're able to make it. And as you have seen, and we have communicated, I'm engaged in all other programs, doing everything, and also combining it with this fellowship program. And as Dr. Ajosu also rightly said, this particular discipline affords you the opportunity to engage in other activities aside the medical or the work. So if you are religious, you're able to engage in a lot of religious activities, and then other things which may interest you. So we have some emergencies that are life-threatening, which when you are called, you should be there. Otherwise, Professor Mekubrobe will say, the ENT person cannot say, I've killed an airway. When you kill the airway, you kill the human being. So on some occasions, we have to manage an airway, which you would be required to be prompt. Otherwise, or some bleeding, epistaxis and all that. Otherwise, otherwise it is not so busy calling out for emergencies duties. So thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay. So to Dr. Ajosu, one question we'd like to ask, taking back from something you said earlier. You said when you started residency training, the video-assisted techniques that Dr. KUMI is talking about, that made him want to do ENT, you didn't start with them. So if that was in the past, we'd like to ask, what do you think is the future of ENT? What would those who are now coming out from medical school and going into ENT, what are they likely to experience?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Munira. I think that the prospect for upcoming ENT, prospective ENT residents and fellows is great, because for them, when we were training, we at the point we didn't even know that we're going to be allowed to have fellowship, and then fellowship came on. Now ENT is moving to subspecialty, and currently we have 2 or 3 subspecialized groups. I remember when we were preparing for our membership in 2009, and there was a procedure that was common among the head and neck surgeon called laryngectomy, and we used to memorize the steps, and then we forget. We memorize it, we forget, we memorize, forget. Then the head and neck surgeon came back, then did a few cases, and we're like, so it is a step that we have been memorizing, and it's like we keep forgetting. So you have more exposure, and you have more exposure to subspecialized areas, and that will enhance, even as a member or even as a general resident, you may have all the fellows maybe around you or some of the fellows around you having subspecialized in a particular area. So your experience with them would be far more richer than us who had everybody then was a general ENT with no specialized area. So if the person had his own interest, let's say in pediatrics, and did more pediatrics, then you'll be more exposed. But we are getting to a place where we are getting to have more specialized people who then, if they are in, even if you're not in your training institution, you can always go to them and get further hands-on or better exposure. So I think that for the upcoming and the upcoming residents and senior residents, the future is bright. And also now, the world is even moving to robotic surgery. I'm sure soon it will get to Ghana, and I'm sure that by the time you are finishing residency and maybe thinking of fellowship and where to start specialize, I even encourage that after membership, if everybody should try, if you want to do ENT. If I were to repeat my fellowship now, I would have chosen a subspecialized area to finish with, so that you know that you are this. Because membership gives you a general view, but if you want to do fellowship, you should also have an area that you can call your own and have authority over that area. So I think the future is very bright for those who are coming after us.
So our final question before we go to answering our audience question is to Dr. Kumi. So we've spoken a lot about all the things that spark your interest in ENT, but is there anything that you come to not enjoy about ENT?
I think one of the things that is quite difficult, that makes ENT practice sometimes, to me, not so nice, is some of the ear conditions that are so difficult to manage. And some of them, head and neck tumors that usually present at the end stages, and it's like nothing else can be done. But I think that one it's common in every field, whether medical or surgical, you find those ones. But some of the ear conditions, like some of the conditions of the tinnitus, it's like nothing can be done. You just have to counsel the patient about it. And those ones, to me, sometimes if you have to do that counseling, it's not so nice an experience to do, because the person has presented to you and you really wish you could do something about it. But it's so unfortunate that you can't do anything about it. And some of the hearing losses that not even hearing aids can help in any way. It's not so nice for me to, experience them sometimes in the clinic. So basically, so far in my training, those are some of the few things I have seen that are not so nice. But generally speaking, I enjoy the program very much. Thank you.
Okay. So a very big thank you to our three panelists for answering all our questions. We have a few more questions from the audience. There was a question earlier asking about mentorship, whether any one of you would be interested in mentoring those who want to do ENT, and if yes, how do they get in contact with you? Dr. Joshua or Dr. Regina, would you want to take the lead?
Ladies first. Dr. Regina.
All right, so it's good. Incision Ghana is giving us the opportunity to, get in contact with people who have already expressed or wish to express their interest. So I'm always available for the students who have passed through my hands. Most of them have my contact, and then we are in, constant communication. So we are available, and our numbers, I'm sure, are available. If anybody's interest has been whipped with this meeting, we are available. We can share our numbers so that they can contact us as and when they want to, and we'll be there to support them through. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so as Regina has said,
about mentorship with you.
Oh, I'm also available. You can share my contact with them, my email, my phone number. I'm also available if you are interested in ENT. Why not? we want more people to join. We want to pass on the knowledge we have to the next generation, and we even want them to do greater things than we have done. So we are always available. Professor said, Dr. George will be opening his arms to us when we went to him. So we are also available to help the next generation. So you can share my contact, you can share my email with them, and we can kickstart from there if they are interested.
Okay. So to Dr. Emmanuel, we have a question here that said, do you need any special skills or qualities aside from passion before going into ENT?
And please, the question again, if I could get the question again.
The question is, do you need any special skill or any special quality aside from simply having an interest in ENT before being able to specialize in that field?
Well, I don't think you need any special, because the training, that's the aim of the training. ENT, it's quite a specialized area. And most of the things that are done there, you will learn them whilst you're in the department. So aside some of the basic surgical skills like suturing and those things, I don't think you need any special skill. But then I stand to be corrected from my bosses here, Dr. Regina and Dr. Jesu. But I personally think if you have your basic surgical skills, since I entered, I mean, most of the things are not things that are done generally. And most instruments in the ENT department are very specialized. They are not used elsewhere or anywhere else. So unless you are in the department and under training, you wouldn't have access to them anyway. So I don't know what quality you would need to enter the training, except the desire for it, and then maybe some basic surgical skill, which will greatly help you whilst you are in the training. Yeah, but I will leave it for Dr. Regina and Dr. Yesu to maybe add up to it. Thank you.
Okay, hello. So I think that is what Dr. Emmanuel has said. That is we don't need additional or any other skill apart from the basic surgical skills that we all require, whether you are actually going to be a surgeon or not. So those ones are basic. Other than that, the training affords you the opportunity to acquire those skills that are really specialized for the ENT. And that is the significance of the training. So other than that, you'll be good to go. Your passion and your desire to be an ENT surgeon will be what you need. Dr. Jesu, if you have any to add.
I think essentially, Regina and Dr. Emmanuel have said, I agree with what they have said. So I will not add anything.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Yeah. One of our participants asked that, is there any advice for people who are considering choosing between doing the residency in Ghana and abroad and coming back, if there are disadvantages and advantages?
Well, if I may start, so getting ENT as an area outside Ghana, US, is not that easy. You have to have high scores and you have to do well on your interview to be able to get it. Notwithstanding, there are others who have done ENT outside. Coming back, once you've done your house job before you left, it shouldn't be a problem fitting back into the Ghanaian system. However, from what we have said so far, because we don't have the numbers, I think doing ENT here is far easier than going outside. And then if you want to add more skill or in the specialized area, then you can go outside, get that skill and come back and practice. But if you are inclined to staying outside and working outside, why not? You can try it. It's not easy though to get a surgical discipline outside, but it's not impossible.
Okay.
Thank
so
you.
Let me just add a little to what Dr. Adesu has said. So deciding to train outside will also depend whether you are single or married, and then, I mean, how the separation of the family is going to be. So if you are single and, I mean, you have the opportunity to train outside and come back, we'll be glad to have you on board. But if you are, you are married, and that's long distance training, like 5 years, I'm sure you would want to do all the membership and fellowship. So 5 years, 6 years, if it's really not going to affect the family, then you can. But if it will, then you consider, I mean, you make considerations before deciding to do that or take that option. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Emmanuel, do you have anything to add to what they've said so?
No, please. I think that's it. I don't have anything to add to that.
Somebody wants to know whether ENT is time consuming, because he has heard that surgeons don't rest at all. So they can be pegged at any time. He wants to know whether it's the same as ENT surgeons or ENT in general.
Okay, so I think comparatively to, can I answer that?
Yes,
comparatively
please.
to other surgical disciplines, I think ENT is not that time consuming. Of course, if you are in residency, junior residency, senior residency, you are exposed to most of the work. So you are the first on call, you are the first to see a patient, you are the first to see an emergency. So during that time, you may be quite busy because you have to see and then maybe discuss with your senior or the next in line or the senior resident, and he instructs you what to do. But apart from that, comparatively to other disciplines, I think it's not as busy as the other surgical disciplines. Notwithstanding, there are a few occasions where you may have to work extra into the night and at very odd hours, but those are few and far in between.
Thank you.
I would like to add that most of the airway complications like coming in the night. That's just something on this side.
That's true. At least in our setting in Tamale, they prefer the nights because they have to travel distances to arrive to our facility. So it takes them quite a while, and they arrive most of the time midnight. So that's the only few times you have to be awake. So
great. Somebody wants to know how much do you earn averagely as an ENT surgeon?
So let me answer that quickly. I think Regina is laughing. In Ghana, there's no average earning. All doctors earn same salary. Whether you are a physician, you are surgeon, you are doing 2,000 surgeries, it's the same salary that you all earn. So salary is based on the level at which you are. So if you are a specialist, you'll be paid a specialist salary per the Ministry of Health pay grade. If you are a senior specialist, you'll be paid per the pay grade. And if you're a consultant, you'll be paid per the pay grade. And if you're in other categories of doctors, it's the same. So I think the pay is the same across for everybody, whether you are a physician or you are a surgeon. So that's what I would say. And it depends on the level at which you are. So
thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, our dear panelists. We've really learned a lot. I can see the chats blowing up. It's been an interesting session. We really appreciate the time you have spent and your dedication to inspire the younger generation to become ENT surgeons. Okay, so I would like to call on our chair of Incision Ghana, Theophilus, to give us a word.
Before,
excuse me.
okay.
There's a question in the question box. I think we didn't talk about it. It's a question on whether there are any annual ENT conferences that medical students and junior doctors can attend to stimulate their interest. I don't remember it being addressed.
But do you have any answer to that? Or does any of the panelists?
Yes. So the faculty has 3 CPDs running every year. So if you have interest, we can float the flyers around. We have a society, ENT Society of Ghana. It's been dormant for a while, but I think this year we are bouncing back. Look out for our CPD outline. It will be rolled out soon, and you can join either the faculty CPDs or the society CPDs. I also see quickly, I see somebody asking about the masters with membership and PhD. Is it possible to acquire masters alone with the membership certificate? I'm not too clear with that question, but I learned in other contexts. Okay, so again,
I think he's gone off.
So I think let me just continue from where he left off. So currently, Ghana College wants or is bringing up a program where members or doctors pursuing the membership program can also have a master's program running alongside it, whilst those doing the fellowship can have a PhD running alongside it, so that you acquire a PhD and the fellowship at the same time. And then those in the university now can equate. Now I know about KNUST. Now they are placing doctors with fellowship or the senior specialists at the same level as those who have had PhD. So sort of PhD now as a fellow, and then a member as a master's degree holder. So I think that is what I can say. If Dr. Ajusu comes online, maybe he can continue with what he wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Apia. I think that news came up, and it was it was an exciting news for current residents, because it means that you can have 2 professional certificates running at the same time. Okay, so for now, maybe Dr. Ajusu is back. So if you would like to tackle the question.
Went off, sorry.
Dr. Ajusu, yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so I was saying that, so you can use your membership to do a PhD, whilst you use your MBCHB to do a master's program. But you can use your membership to do a PhD if you want. Currently, the Ghana College also is developing a module where you, as part of your fellowship, you can opt to do a PhD model where you will be awarded a PhD by a university, whereas the college will award you the fellowship. So you won't do a dissertation, but you rather do a PhD and be awarded both the fellowship and the PhD at the same time when you finish the fellowship. So that is the next step being rolled out by the Ghana College. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ajusu, Dr. Pia, and Dr. Kumi. I'm sure our participants have learned a lot. Teddy, over to you.
Hello.
Oh, we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Dokas. Thank you, Dr. Munira. I'm very much aware of the time. This is the worst time to speak, before lunch or before supper. I don't understand between someone and their dinner. But first of all, I want to say a big thank you to our panelists today for taking the time to not only share their passion and their work, but then also their life with us, to give us a glimpse into their life and their journey as ENT surgeons, and to share more light on ENT in Ghana. So thank you very much, Dr. Jesu, Dr. Regina, and Dr. KUMI for their time. And thank you to the audience for your engaging questions, stimulating the discussion. And we are hopeful that this has been helpful to someone today. The session was recorded, so if you want access to this, you can get in touch with Dr. Dokas or Dr. Munira. Just a couple of things I'll just say. Fortunately, unfortunately, mentorship, influences to a great extent what we can achieve in any field, medicine included, how fast and how far one can go. Sometimes you just need someone to hold your hand. And as all the speakers have attested to, this has been their case as well. And to me, the highlights of this discussion was when all our panelists were very willing for anyone to contact them if they were interested in ENT surgery. And this is the kind of cycle we'd like to see, where someone holds your hand to stand, you hold someone else's hand to walk, and they hold someone else's hand to run, and they also hold someone else's hand to fly. And in that light of mentorship, I just want to mention that the research sub-team of Incision Ghana is organizing a mentorship program that is aimed at research capacity building. And this would involve a series of monthly online webinars or virtual webinars. And these would run concurrently with a practical research work. And so all those who are fortunate to be selected for the mentorship program would have mentors who would assist them from the first point of choosing a research question to the point where they produce a manuscript that's ready for publication. I'm really excited and looking forward to that. And finally, thank you very much to the education sub-team. Thank you, Munira. This is an amazing job pulling this off, considering all the challenges at the backside. We are really happy and looking forward to the other sessions in this education series. And if you want to join Incision or the education team, there should be a link in the chat. You can just click on it and we'll sort you out. Thank you very much. We are 1 minute overrunning, and sorry for that.
Yeah, so just within the next last minute, I would like everyone to turn on your camera if it's possible, so that we have a good picture.
If I may add, while everybody is doing that, like I started at the beginning of the meeting, this is the first part in a series. Our next series will be targeting general surgeons, where we are hoping to, just as we've done now, to get residents and specialists and senior specialists, maybe one of the professors in general surgery to grace us so that we'll all get the chance to ask questions relating to general surgery.
Okay. All right, thank you, Munira. So is everyone ready?
I think some people are still putting on their camera. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so thanks everyone. I would be sending emails to all the participants with the registration link for if you are interested in joining Incision Ghana. I'll also add the contacts of all our panelists. So in case you are interested in mentorship by our dear panelists. Thank you so much for your time, and this is the end of the meeting.
All right.